Hey guys, welcome back to our 2016 A-Level H2 Math Paper 1. Alright, we're going to be moving on to question 5 today in this video. I'm going to be looking at the solutions to this question on vectors. So this question is actually quite a simple question, I would say, but it can be a bit more confusing for many of you guys because we are looking at vector algebra. So it is going to be slightly difficult, yet also there are some parts which is going to be actually not as hard as you think it is. So let's just go through it step by step. So the first part 1, okay, the question goes, the vectors u and v are given by, let's write out what these vectors are, right? So u is 2, minus 1, 2. Write it out in vector form. You have v, which is going to be a0, b. Right, so you have got vector u and vector v, which are given as 2, minus 1, 2 and a0b respectively, where a and b are constants. So the first part is asking you to find u plus v cross u minus v in terms of a and b. So let's just work this out. Okay, it's very simple. It's basically like your normal algebra. So you have got vector u plus vector v cross vector u minus vector v. So to work this out, we just need to simply expand it. So using some of you guys may call it rainbow method. Go ahead and just expand it. You would have u cross u minus u cross v plus v cross u. And lastly, minus v cross v. So it's very simply just your normal algebra like this. Alright, you would then be able to combine everything. So as we have learned from your basics on vectors, u cross u, okay, a vector cross another vector, they're going to be parallel, right? So you're going to be left with a 0 vector. So it'll be just 0 with a tilde below. And then after which you would actually have u cross v, okay, if you flip it around, it will become a positive, right? The minus sign would cancel out, okay, because it is the opposite of this vector. So you have plus v cross u plus another v cross u, and this one will also give us a 0 tilde, so a 0 vector. So the 0 vectors will cancel out and you'll be left with 2 of v cross u. Alright, so like I've just said, okay, this part over here, this negative u cross v, right? If you flip it over to bring it v cross u, you have to add a minus sign, a negative sign, so it just becomes a plus, which is why we add up both of them together. So this will give us 2 of v cross u. So now just need to sub in what these vectors are. So 2 of v, which is a0b, cross u, which is going to be 2 minus 1, 2. And this is where you just need to very simply do your normal cross method, right? Your cross method of vectors, and you would be able to get 2. On top you have b, and then don't forget to include a negative sign. You have 2b minus 2a, and at the bottom you have minus a. So if you bring the 2 in, you'll be simply left with 2b, 4b minus 4a, and minus 2a at the bottom. And that will very simply be your answer to the first part. So you're just going to be simply finding this vector algebra in terms of a and b. Very simple part to do. Alright, the next part 2, is going to be the bigger mark question. So it's 4 marks. Given that I and k components of the answer to part 1 are equal, so your I and k components are going to be equal. Very simple. You have got 2b, which is your I component, correct? So this is your I component, 2b, and your k component, which is going to be minus 2a. They are equivalent. So this will be equals to minus 2a. You know that b is now going to be equals to minus a. So this will help us later on when it comes to substitution. Express u plus v cross u minus v in terms of a only. So we're going to be expressing in terms of a only, and then after which you need to find in exact form the possible values of a for which it is a unit vector. So unit vectors, you know that mod of the whole answer, k, will give you 1, right? But before that, let's try and put everything in terms of a first. So you have got u plus v cross u minus v, which we have already found. So just need to sub in the relevant, substitute the b out, right? You want to be left with a only. So you would have 2 times minus a 4 times minus a minus 4a and minus 2a at the bottom, this would be left with minus 2a and then minus 8a and minus 2a. Right, so this is going to be what we are going to be working with, right, because we only want in terms of a. So now we know that this whole thing is actually going to be a unit vector, meaning to say that you mod this whole answer, which is u plus v cross u minus v, will just give you 1. So we just need to sub in our answer, which is going to be over here. You have minus 2a minus 8a minus 2a will give you a value of 1 because it's a unit vector. So use your usual way of expanding, right? Whenever we are finding mod in terms of vectors, you would have your entire square root that is going to come out. It will just be minus 2a square plus your minus 8a square plus minus 2a square equals to 1. Right, there are two ways of doing this now. Okay, you can either square the whole thing or you can just go ahead and solve inside first. If you square both sides, you'll be left with one side, which is going to be, if you add everything up, it's just going to be 72a square, which is equivalent to 1 square. So 1 square is still going to be 1, so you're going to be left with a square is equivalent to 1 over 72. So a is going to be plus minus 1 over 72, and you have to square root the entire thing, right? So whenever you have a square, it can either be a positive or a negative answer, so you have to add the plus minus in front, and you can square root the whole thing. Go ahead and write this in simpler form if you want to. Okay, it's always good. So you have plus minus square root 1 over square root of 72. Square root of 1 is still going to be 1, so you'll be left with plus minus of 1 over. Okay, square root 72, you can split it up into 36 times 2. So square root 36 is going to be 6. So you'll be left with this answer over here, which is going to be plus minus 1 over 6 root 2. You cannot square root 2. So this will be your answer. So very simple. Okay, you've got two answers for two possible values for A. And now the last part, which is going to be actually very simple as well. It's just your normal algebra. So given instead that u plus v dot u minus v. So now we're having a dot. Okay, it's going to be much easier to work with. There's no more cross. So you just need to expand this whole thing. You have u dot u plus, minus first. So u dot u minus u dot v plus v dot u minus v dot v will be equivalent to 0. Right, as you guys know, okay, when it comes to dot product, right, it doesn't matter the placement in which your u and v are. Okay, you can swap them about. They still give you the same answer, which is why your minus u dot v and plus v dot u will actually cancel out. So you would be left with this. So mod of u square minus u dot v plus u dot v. You can just swap them about because we're looking at dot over here. Minus, you combine v dot v would give you a vector of v square with the modular signs. Is to give you 0. So you'll be left with the answer of u square equivalent to v square. Right, and you can cancel out both the squares. You'll be left with mod of v is equivalent to the mod of u. So mod of u is equivalent to the mod of v. They want you to find a numerical value of v, so you need to sub in what the mod of u is going to be, which we have already found in the first part, correct? I mean, the question already gave it to us, essentially. So mod of v will be equivalent to the mod of u, which is going to be 2 square ijk plus minus 1 square plus your 2 square. And this will give you a nice answer of root 9, which is equivalent to 3. And that would be your answer. So this is how you do this question. I think it's quite a simple question. The last part is really for you in case you're unable to get the first few marks, right, for you to just go ahead and get the 3 marks at the bottom. If not, that is actually all for this question. I hope you have understood how to do this question better. It's a very simple question of vector algebra. Once you get a hang of it, trust me, you'll find it a breeze to do. Alright, so if not, that's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section below. I will answer them. If not, if you did learn something from this video, be sure to give it a like, as well as to subscribe to my channel. It helps a lot. And if not, I'll see you guys in the next question on question 7. I believe it should be question 6 or question 7. I think question 6, the first part is really our syllabus. So we'll look at question 6, part 2 and part 3, and then we'll move on to question 7 and so on and so forth. Alright, if not, that's all I have for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye bye.